What's up, everyone? My name is Osco, and this is another episode of the Osco blog, the video blog online on some sort of online platform. So, I kind of wanted to get more into the habit of actually, posting more about what's happening in my life because I'd say as of recently, I've kind of taken a different direction in terms of like the way I want to take life. Let's start with that. Let's start with that. So, the old lore is that went to school, got a degree, got a job, was a good paying job, lots of benefits, good pay. But I think it's like that super tale as old as time where it just didn't feel like the work was meaningful, and a lot of the days just felt like they were wasted. And then you would just sit at your desk, just like daydreaming, thinking about all the things you could be, what it'd be like if you could spend the time building the things you want, hanging out with the people that you want to spend time with, just enjoying what life has to offer in the capacity that you are allowed to based on your like financial constraints. So I've like no jab to the job. Like it was what it was what it was. But I was looking for a way out after the second year because the only thing I really had that was pressing that I wanted to pay off with the job that I had was my student loans, which I got paid off, which was great. But I was always just looking for the right sign to kind of step out and start my own thing or just start exploring and seeing what life has to have. So around April of this year, it just completed like the 6 year mark of being at my corporate job. And a lot of things like were signaling that I think this was the end of my tenure at this place. So one of the things that was kind of like like coming at me personally was the job. This is like a little bit after COVID, probably like a couple, maybe 1 or 2 years. But the company was work from home, and apparently they did such a good job from home. They wanted to bring everyone back to the office to make everyone's lives like just a lot more corporate centric. I guess you would say. So I was getting. I lived about like let's say 2 hours driving from my job, 2 hours there and 2 hours back. So I absolutely was not going to do that. And my team that I was on actually was not even with me in the same like geographic area. Like they're basically around the country. So there was almost no point in having me show up to the office to talk to no one essentially. But because it was like a big company wide like mandate, uh, I was getting targeted for that and getting a lot of passive aggressive emails just saying if you don't show up to the office by this date, we're going to talk to your manager, escalate this, and blah blah blah. Terminate you without pay, blah blah. I don't know, like a bunch of just like nonsense. So I know it's like if you like put your tinfoil hat on and then you think about it a little bit, it just feels like a way for people to be removed from the company without having to pay like the extra severance benefits, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't want to like wait for I guess permission or like permission to leave the company. I was just like let's just leave on my own. Hello. Sorry. Okay. Let's just leave on my own time. So I quit in April, and I had a good bit saved up from just working and also some pretty decent investments. I guess you would say cool. I guess. And then this is the part where a smart person would have been doing like in their free time outside of work, maybe done like a side company, maybe a boring one like window cleaning, or maybe like some sort of like app that was like servicing some people in a meaningful way, so you can get revenue from that. I had none of those. I was just kind of dabbling with VR every like now and then, but nothing like consistent. Just because the amount of time I spent at work kind of drained me from wanting to do anything else. But I was just not really diligent about how I was spending my time. So maybe outside looking in, if I could go back, maybe I would spend more time like trying to like focus on sleeping more and consistently waking up early because I think for me personally, the best amount of energy and concentration I have is like right at the beginning of the morning when my mind's not like cloudy and like drained and like muggy. So definitely would like work on some sort of like side company in the morning, first 2 hours before going to work, and then go to work, and then just chill the rest of the day, kind of thing. 2 hours a day doesn't seem like that much, but adding up 365 days, that's still quite a bit of time to work on something. So it's pretty good. But anyway, we go to April, quit job, have some savings, but nothing clear lined up, and not really looking forward to rotating to another corporate job yet. So we just kind of dabble. So I'm trying to look through. Oh, I guess after I quit my corporate job, the first thing I actually wanted to do was like enjoy life. So I did a bunch of stuff that I always wanted to do. I picked up Muay Thai for like a month. That was pretty fun. Shout out to Street Fighter, great game. I picked up longboarding for a little bit, but then I got really cocky as someone who was on a longboard for exactly 1 week, and I got on a skateboard. And I'm like more of a heavy set individual, so I didn't even like take a spill, like rolling on the skateboard. I like leaned a little too far back on the skateboard and then went like straight down onto my left butt cheek. And because like I weigh so much, like it caused such a like bad shock to my spine. I had to go to a chiropractor. So that was an L for the summer, I would say. And at the same time, like someone was trying to like return something to me when I was at the park, and they saw me take a spill, and then were so they were so embarrassed by what they saw that they actually turned around and just didn't give me anything they wanted to give me until like later that day. So apparently it was pretty bad. So Muay Thai, longboarding. I picked up reading again, which I didn't realize I missed so much. It was like one of my favorite activities when I was growing up as a kid, and started to pick up, doing some books. Spent a lot of time with family, which is cool. And one thing that I've always wanted to do but never could find an excuse to do was like build a PC. So I spent some money, I think like $2,000, something like that, on my first kit. Broke the PC because apparently the way I put one of the one of the things on the motherboard like bent some wiring, and then like I went to some sort of a PC repair shop and they charged me $200 to fix that. And also I can't put RAM in the right place. I'm stupid. So, but yeah, that was an experience. And now I have a super cool, powerful PC with all this kind of stuff. But yeah, but that was probably from April until maybe end of June, and I didn't really have like April, May, and 21. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do next. And one of the things I didn't realize that I necessarily would miss, but I guess took for granted, was the structure of the nine to 5 day. So having that time like centered around working on some sort of like central objective, like even if it's like a boring job you don't care about, like things will get done because you set aside that time to get it done, kind of thing. Because I didn't have that 9 to 5, like I had no boss, like I had no job, I had nothing I was like actively trying to work towards. It was like hard to consistently get work done in whatever I want to like further myself in, whether it be like learning about new tech like AI or VR or building something or you check something out. Because I didn't consistently spend time doing it, it just was like really staggered progress and like really hard to get momentum on anything. So then we fast forward to around July. I applied to this program online called BuildSpace, which is a 6-week online school to work on your ideas. I've been doing this for quite a while. I've joined every season that they had, and this season I applied with because got back into reading and writing. I applied with a web novel idea that I had been stewing for about a couple of years. So I spent a couple of weeks writing the first 8-ish chapters, and I didn't really like the way that the web novel came out because there was no for me. I mean, like when you make something, you're always very critical of like what it was in your head and then the way it comes out, kind of thing. My thing was that there was no hook, so there was like no incentive for people to like start reading and then like investing into it. So after the 6 weeks of build space, I dropped it. Which, well, not dropped it, but I just put it on the burner for now. When I have more time, I would love to write more stuff or maybe like release it in bulk. But I still went through the 6 weeks and then worked on that web novel idea. And I went to if you make it through 6 weeks of like iterating on whatever you're doing, you get to be invited to the IRL event where you meet other people who are working on their cool ideas. And it's probably one of my favorite events that I always had the privilege of going to when the program was around. And that's when I met someone who was working on a similar-ish idea. So they were working. The name is Nat. They're working on a book to kind of archive the history of a certain dance style from the area that they're from. So I was making a web novel, she was making a book about dance. So in that literary sense, we kind of like binded, I guess you could say. And met a lot of other people as well. Eventually, we all part ways because the IRL event's only like a weekend. But then Nat calls me about a week later, and I was, we talked about a lot of stuff. I expressed that I really wanted to do something in VR, and we were kind of joking about the idea of having like some sort of like historical dance VR simulator where basically you would go through the story of like how a dance came to be, kind of thing. And then she's just like, I think your idea is really cool. Like, let me work with you, kind of thing. And then I was pretty taken aback by the ask because I didn't really, I had not worked like diligently full time on anything for a long time. And this person reaching out saying, "Hey, I have confidence that like working with you, I will be able to like make something amazing with you." Kind of was just like it threw me off because I guess subconsciously I didn't realize that I didn't have that confidence in even making something myself. So having this person like now rely on the fact that that I think I know what I'm doing, uh, it kind of made me change my mind about how I wanted to progress forward coming from there. It's one of those things where like when you don't really have a guided purpose, you're just kind of like meandering and wandering and not really almost like you're looking for someone to give you a reason to like care or do something. And then this reason came, and I could have said no, as anyone could have said, but I decided, what, let's give it a chance. Like I'm not really working on anything like very pressing right now. Why don't we try and collaborate and see what we can make? So we around the same time, I got word of another hackathon. So at the time, I was living in Virginia, which is like right south of like DC, Washington DC, capital of the world. And the Build Space IRL event was in San Francisco. So I was in San Francisco the beginning of August, and I got word of a new hackathon in San Francisco again around the end of August. So I applied with myself and that, and we actually started working on the dancing VR idea that we had come up with like the beginning of August. So we applied, we worked hard on the hackathon. We had another teammate that we picked up, and we actually got third place, which was kind of surprising because the app that we had was so half baked and bad. Like it was like basically embarrassing. But I think that when we expressed like what we were making and kind of showcased it to the judges, they kind of understood the vision of what we were trying to do, and I guess that kind of like elevated our standing amongst everyone else in the category that we were competing in. So that was cool. So then that's the first instance of the VR dance idea that we were working on. And because we went to the hackathon, we actually got an invite to go to Meta Connect. So Meta Connect is kind of like the Apple keynote for Meta, where it's a yearly showcase of like new Meta products and what they're working on and games, and like it was something that I saw online like a long time ago, and I always said to myself that I wanted to be part of it when I feel like I am worthy of being invited. And this one was kind of like cheating because uh, I got in because of a like Meta affiliated hackathon, but I didn't get in because of I think my skill yet. I guess I would say because I didn't really make anything. I was just at a hackathon. I didn't have any users for my app. I didn't have any money coming in, and didn't have like a reputation online yet. But I took the chance of going, and I went. And it was funny like that. I thought that because once I went there, they had this weird thing where you would have like I think called like a convention badge, but it was like every person's thing was like ranked different colors. So if you were like a certain color, like I think black or red, you were like a high VIP like person in Meta's eyes. If you were like blue, I think that's what it was. You're just like a flunky, just like a level one mafia grunt. So that's what me and Nat were when we both went. But that was like a lot of fun. We got to check out the Meta campus, which was fantastic. They have their own like swag store, so that was really funny. We got to talk to a lot of different talented people and kind of talk about our idea, try and validate some edges on like what we want to do next. And it seems like people were really eager to see something like a not specifically like a VR dancing game, but like a VR app to teach you how to dance or like how to practice dancing. So that was MetaConnect was the end of September. October, I have to look through my notes, but I feel like I didn't do anything super meaningful. Maybe just like a lot of family stuff. But then November, for some reason, I decided to just dial in for some reason. So I spent basically the first 3 weeks just cranking out the first version of the dancing app that we had. And the idea was pretty straightforward. So basically, you would just it was like a stick guy would represent like a person dancing, and then their hands would be red, and you're supposed to like match your hands with their hands, and then that's basically you learning how to dance, air quotes, kind of thing. So that was the first version. I was pretty happy with the fact that I was able to make such progress, like at all. But I was not really happy with this being like the final version of what I was looking at, kind of thing. Of course not. It's like very early. Like I cranked it out in like 3 weeks, kind of thing. I was still learning how to like make VR apps. And then around the time I finished that first version, I told myself I was going to go to El Salvador to kind of to scope out if it would be possible to live there. So since I'm not, actively working or making money, the savings I had were quickly dwindling, being in a very expensive first world country known as America. So I wanted to kind of check out El Salvador, which is where my parents are from, and I still have a lot of family there. And maybe settle down there for maybe a year. Try and like make some VR app like sustainable. Also learn Spanish while there, and then I'm there, save a lot of money. Be in a very nice temperate climate because I hate being cold. I hate being cold. Being cold freaking sucks. So that was the original plan. And then when I went to El Salvador, I actually got a very interesting email. So I'm on the newsletter for a company called Founders Inc. They're like a venture capital firm that has like an in-house like co-working spaces for their portfolio company. So big words basically just mean to simplify, it's basically just like a company that invests in like up and coming companies, with different size checks, maybe like a couple thousand, maybe like several 100,000. But they also have like a space where they can have those companies work inside and talk to the staff to kind of like help make their app better, get more users, get more money, all that kind of stuff. So I got a very interesting email that basically not invited, but like sent out an application to say like, hey, people are making resolutions to work on their cool ideas next year. What about you? Do you want to work on it early? So they have a program called Cold Start. So it was like a very almost like a Google form, like a very simple form. It's just like, hey, what's your name? What are you working on? What's the last thing that you made that went viral? Like if you got into this Cold Start, what would you work on for a month? So basically, they just give you access to the offices that they have, which are pretty empty right now because I guess the actual companies that they invested in went home for the holidays. So I applied. A couple of days later, I actually got like an acceptance email, which I would say surprised me. Like I had like a 50-50 chance I was going to get in, kind of thing. But when I actually got in, I was wondering if I'd actually accept the opportunity because I was in El Salvador. I was trying to start a new arc for the VR developer Osco journey. But then I figured, there's probably not that many opportunities to be in San Francisco and get direct like access to probably like some of the smartest peers in that will become amazing like companies in the next couple of years, and also like having a lot of advisors to kind of guide you on your journey as well. So I definitely could have stayed in El Salvador, saved a lot of money, and just like figured out a lot of stuff on my own. But I want to take the chance to be here and learn what I can in this month when it feels like I have the opportunity to do so. So I cut my El Salvador trip short by about 3 weeks. Booked a bunch of flights to go back home to Virginia to drop a bunch of stuff, and then fly the next day straight to San Francisco. So that was a crazy weekend to get to San Francisco on like a Monday. Yeah, I literally booked everything on Thursday, bought a bunch of stuff on Friday, flew on Saturday back to America, and then flew on Sunday to San Francisco. So, and one of the things that kind of surprised me, which I didn't, I guess this makes me a little bit egotistical or like maybe unempathetic, but I didn't realize that like me leaving so early would affect the family I was with so much because we already spent like a lot of time together. Personally, I actually went on a trip to Costa Rica when I first went to El Salvador for like, so we were very intimately close for a week. So they were very sad that I suddenly had news that I was going somewhere else. And it kind of struck me as like, I didn't expect it kind of thing. I thought it'd be like, oh, he just came, oh, he's leaving kind of thing. But maybe it's just because I have the opportunity to come and go so easily as a U.S. passport owner and, someone that had a good job in a past life. So I guess the fact that like I'm leaving so soon, I guess, and they can't come like visit me because of both financial and like passport constraints. So I guess that kind of hit me in a very sad kind of way. But I was hoping that this cold start would give me the chance to kind of like align me with the next step to kind of give me the opportunity to build a good VR company that's sustainable and makes money kind of thing. So now we get to the fun arc. Now, 20 minutes into this so and so recap session, I get to talk about the cold start arc. So I guess this is probably where the juicy stuff is because this is the stuff that I remember very vividly because it just recently happened. So we fly in on a Monday. I get a hostel that was surprisingly really cheap, maybe like 30 a day. That's about 20-minute walk from the Fanners Inc. Building, which is fantastic. But I forgot that I am like very sickly. I have like a weak immune system because I don't eat well, eat vitamins, or like exercise regularly. So I get sick basically the first week, and it sucks because I've gotten like cold sick once before with pneumonia, which is like it's like who gets pneumonia like in 2023? Like I got pneumonia last time because I was in Denver visiting a friend and I had no more clothes, so I was doing laundry and I just took a shower, so I was wet. And because I have cat allergy and my friend had cats, I was outside. So I was outside dripping wet on the deck in Denver in the middle of winter. So like no shit, you get pneumonia, idiot. But so I started to get like the feelings of pneumonia again, where like I was laying down and like I was coughing a lot in the bed, and which sucks because I'm in a hostel, so I was with other people. So basically, I kept up the whole night with my incessant coughing because I was like dying. Oh God, it's coming back! No. But I spent that first week basically just like suffering from what felt like the onset symptoms of pneumonia, just like a lot of coughing. Spent a lot of time just like drinking tea, like doing a lot of weird old world like medicinal recipes to try to like offset that. Apparently, sleep does not help with like a like a cough infection kind of thing. Oh yeah, my muc. I was gonna get really into the grody of it. Basically, like I'm pretty sure I had an infection of some sort, but through diligent tea drinking and cough drop consuming, and medicine taking, and I finally learned the power of Vicks Vapor Rub. It's like if you were in growing up in a minority household, it's like this magical serum where like it smells very intense, but you put it on your body and like it just makes you feel better and like not want to cough all the time. So basically, having to self medicate myself for the first week of being here, adjusting from the amazing, beautiful, warm, luscious, relaxed temperatures of El Salvador to hell winter that is San Francisco. And it wasn't even like that cold, like extensively, maybe like 40 degrees. But because I anything below 60 is like freezing for me, like I was my body cannot like maintain. So first week was pretty not that great. Didn't get that much done. Just kind of trying to self medicate and kind of adjust to a new lifestyle of living somewhere else. So didn't do too much, and I was in this interesting spot where I think I have an ego about this. Like I feel like I know what the next thing I need to do is. So I'm just currently working on this VR app to learn how to dance, and I wanted to make it as perfect as possible for the next feature. So basically, I spent like the whole week just like making new feature, like not making a new feature, and not spending too much time like actually talking out the idea or like trying it out with like different people. So and I feel like if I ask the question of like what should I do next, the answer is pretty obvious. Just like finish your thing and then talk to people and see if like they understand what you're doing or like they like what you're doing. Like, are they willing to like pay for your thing? So that was the first week. Not that great of a week, but because I consider any progress to be good progress, I consider it to be a dub. And now we go to this week. So let's talk about what I was trying to release in the VR dancing app. So the problems that I have with current learning how to dance online mechanisms is that it's just like not very interesting. So you can do the cheap option where you can like stand next to a mirror and then have like a YouTube video popping in with like the instructions, and someone will just like Ugh. someone just kind of like break down the move. So which is fine, like it's free, like it's perfect. I think that's probably my biggest competitor to the fact that things are free, albeit a bit inconvenient. And then there's like apps like Steezy, which have like a whole like portfolio of different dances and stuff that you can learn. And they have a lot of different nice like player tools, like you can mirror the video, you can slow it down, you can break it up into parts, which is fantastic. But you're still kind of like in your room by yourself, just learning, which I personally don't think is like that fun. So I was kind of toying with the idea of like, what if there was like a full immersive environment where you can kind of like feel like you're somewhere like a dance hall, like I don't know, with other people kind of thing. So, but I still wanted to have like that video player control thing in VR, and because I think it's one of those things that I personally enjoy, like consuming media in VR. So I wanted to see what the experience was like be like to basically replicate the real life experience, but in a very like intentional environment. So that was this week's assignment. I actually just finished the next thing I wanted to add to the VR dancing app, which is like breaking down a video and then replaying the steps, something like that. So I released. Well, I tried it out with my co-founder Nat on Wednesday, and then also talked about it with a different person yesterday. So I got a lot of good feedback on what I should add for the next step. So I think I'm very close to having like the MVP, like the minimal viable product, and just to try and see if people care, kind of thing. Uh, I think the biggest test will be for me because there's so many dances I want to learn just from pop culture, from video games, things like that. So if I get to the point where I feel like I'm in the app and I want to be in the app and I want to like add more dances or spend more time perfecting things, I think I will have a good product. I don't know. Hey, would I pay $5 to see this develop better? Well, the only answer for that is I'm actually paying like a lot of different people $5 a month for different things that they're making that even though I don't use regularly, I just like the fact that they're building it and I want to see it like on a more like fleshed out scale. So I think it'd be people like that who would support me, which is not the ideal target audience because you're supporting like it's almost like donating, right? Donating is very like a very optional activity for your monetary constraints. This is not like a core problem I'm solving. Like I'm not like curing painful diseases or like saving like thousands of hours of time kind of thing. There's just a hobby that I feel like could be improved, and that's kind of what I am iterating on right now. So I'm in this very interesting spot where I spent most of the week building up the new training mode feature. Just yesterday, I spent like some time making some videos to kind of explain what's happening. I actually have not checked out. I posted on my personal socials and on Reddit. I've not checked out what people have said about it yet. There is a non-zero chance that I post things and like either I get banned from Reddit or like nobody cares kind of thing. But I've been kind of surprised that when I post things like thus far, I've been getting a lot of good. Well, it's like weird. It's like almost like false good feedback where like people are just like, "Wow, good, great job, champ! Like that looks really cool. Like keep at it, kind of thing." But no one is actually like going out of the way, to be like, "Yo, let me try this out. Yo, like put me in, coach. Yo, let me tell you what I want in this app, kind of thing." I'm not at that point yet, so I'm still like a little bit apprehensive about continuing to work on this because I don't know if this is like the right thing I should be spending my time on. But the two things that make me feel like it's worthwhile is that I'm learning a lot about VR development. Like I've not been this dialed in to making something for a long, long time. And like being around such other people, like they're making AI companies, they're making stories, they're making hardware tools. Like being around these like genius people just like is elevating. It's like a party boost. When you play like MMOs, so you get the buff to like work faster, work more efficiently. So I'm getting that. That's fantastic. I don't regret working on the VR app for that reason. I'm having a lot of fun just like learning about how to make videos faster and trying to find a style that is like effective at getting people's attention. So that part I'm still trying to experiment on because I'm not spending as much time in that domain. But I think once I spend more time there, I'll be a very powerful individual. So we have that. Yeah. So then we're at this weird. I think I'm at this almost feature complete part of the dancing app. So I think next week what I'm going to do is just add like this is gonna be so like so lo-fi. So part of dancing is like you have to kind of know if you're doing the right move in the right orientation. So the two ambitious things I want to do is so the video player is there, you can control it in VR. I want to have like maybe an external camera, like maybe your phone, for example, pointing at you, but then it's connected to the app so that you see yourself in the app, right? And then with that, maybe also have some sort of tool that like looks at your body angles, maybe, and then like gives you live feedback on like, yo, buddy, like your elbow is not like looking that great in this angle, kind of thing. So I think once I have those things, I think I'll have that like that magic moment where people are like, yo, let me try it out, kind of thing. Oh, and I guess one of the things that's like a little bit an interesting pain point is I'm really happy to work on this app because I really want to like refine my VR skills, but I don't think that it's not that there's enough VR users that are willing to try out this app. It's that it'll be a lot harder to find VR users that are willing. It's hard to find VR users in general. Okay, I can't say that. I can't say that. I'm still experimenting, but there's a higher probability. I'll say this one. There's a higher probability of people that don't have VR headsets that want to try out this app than the other way around, kind of thing. So I'm gonna try and see if it's possible to like kind of like double dip in my app. Like, can someone who only has a computer and a phone also use this and not have to have your headset? But yeah, that's gonna be next week's task. So yeah, we are in week 2 of Cold Start. Don't have any active users yet. We'll see what I'm gonna make this probably a weekly series because I kind of want to also look at my own progress, kind of thing, as time goes on. So yeah, that has been this week's update. Oh, okay. There's one more note that I read to myself. So it's true that I don't have any active users or like anyone on my Discord or anyone on my email list like actively begging me for this thing to come out. But it's kind of cool that some people are actually reaching out to me individually, being like, "Yo, I saw what you posted on Twitter the other day. Like, it's pretty sick. Yo, keep at it." And someone texted me today, be like, "Yo, I like your app. Can I join your team to like help make more stuff?" I'm just like, bro, this is like the Nat story all over again. The Nat story all over again, where it's just like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like making stuff and seeing if I'm seeing what sticks. I'm seeing if I like it or not, kind of thing. But maybe if people are willing to like join like the team, maybe there's something here, kind of thing. Maybe I'm just very underestimating what this app could be because I'm in the moment right now and not where it could be. So I think just having that I think the best advice I heard actually from one of the mentor talks at Founders Inc. this week was like, as long as you keep building cool stuff and you keep telling people about it in the right places, like how can you not succeed, kind of thing. So I'm gonna take that as the end note for this video. If you are working something cool, VR or not, like I'd love to hear what you're working on. If you want to try out my app, it's drop me a message and I'll send you an invite link. Yeah. So cool. Thanks for listening, maybe not. Uh, the so XR. Bye.